Peggy and Derek and Jareen and the rest of Virgil's beloved family and friends, I'm honored to have a chance to speak to you today. I apologize for not being able to be there, but just know that Linda and I are with you guys in spirit. And so I thought that as Derek had requested, I just give you guys a few things about my relationship with Virgil over the years. And honestly, I'm shooting it in front of this bale of hay and this bed just because that's what brought us together. I'll always be grateful for that. And I would just throw out a few fun things. So 35 years ago, about right now, Virgil Jackson called me for the first time and asked about this bale bed thing. And we had many conversations. And those of you that know Virgil well understand the many conversations part. He had 1,000 questions, which is good. I attempted to answer those. One of the oddest ones was, well, if I make this purchase, will you provide me some hydraulic spinners? And I was puzzled. And I said, well, Mr. Jackson, I don't think I understand why you would need those. And he went on to say that with his bolt-in unit from a different background that he'd had before, he always had trouble unrolling. I said, well, I'll make them for you, but I don't think you'll need them. And as near as I know, and Peggy or Derek, you can confirm this, but I suspect they're probably still hanging somewhere on a hook. I don't know. Many things. Virgil kind of introduced me to strip farming and told me if someone wanted to come hunting antelope there, they couldn't leave Wyoming until they had at least 10. He talked about firefighting. He talked about a lot of things, but the thing he talked most about was his family, and you guys know that. He loved you all more than he could even say. He loved having Tyler and others help him on the ranch and around. He loved seeing Derek begin a custom combining business back in the 90s, and about then, in the early 90s, I think Derek told me 91, we had stopped, Linda and I and our 3 girls, had stopped and planned to spend the night with Peggy and Virgil. We got to the house and there's nobody there, and we can't figure that out. And of course, it's before cell phones are common. And finally, I got on the two-way, and I think I probably talked to Dan or somebody, whoever answered. And it turns out that was the day or next day after Virgil had been involved in a mule-drawn wagon wreck, and some of you know what I'm talking about. So he was in the hospital. We went to visit him. Anyway. Many times since, he's talked about how he looked over that hospital bed at those 3 little blonde-haired girls and was so sad that he couldn't be out teasing them instead of laying in that bed. So anyway, this has been quite a just a loving and long interaction with Virgil and Peggy. So one thing I do want to say before I close here, I'm honored to be asked, so thank you, Derek, Peggy, and Jareen, and the rest of the family. Secondly, one thing that's really important here is that I now know that Virgil had come to a saving relationship with Jesus Christ as Savior sometime in the last decades. I'm not sure exactly when. Doesn't matter when. But I would say this, and those of you that do have hydrobeds, you'll know that in your owner's manual, there's a couple pages in there that just talk about this. Talk about this idea of our Creator God and our relationship with Him, and how sin breaks and severs that relationship. Virgil knew that. Peggy knows that. The rest of the family knows that. So I just would challenge and ask all of you to take a glance at those pages if you have one of those. If not, talk to Derek, Peggy, whoever. Just understand that the need for each of us to be in that saving relationship is crucial and vital to knowing that we'll be with Him with eternity, because we can't pay our own price for our own sin. So, to my dear friend Virgil, I love you, and I look eagerly forward to our reunion someday at the feet of our Savior. Thank you.